Hello and welcome to another Wisdom Wednesdays with your boy. Going from the other side.
Brandino
Hi, I'm Brandino Wolfensteino, and I'm coming to you live from the place I'm always coming from. All right, we're gonna cut that. So this week, I'm actually gonna pull in some midnight shifts this week at my job, and it gives me a lot of time to think. Gives me a lot of time to myself. You know, usually the shifts that I'm on usually have people in it, and I haven't done a midnight shift since last year. So when you're on the midnight shift of a job, especially if you're doing security, you know, you're basically there, you know, by yourself the entire time. You and your thoughts and some drawings if you draw, or just your Facebook. I don't know. But if you're a thinking analysis or just a deep person, not saying that there's not a lot of deep people out there, but just saying, if you label yourself as a deep person, these times are the times when you most self-reflect. And even though I wasn't self-reflecting, I'm just saying I'm deep enough. But but what happened this week was I was looking back onto an old manga of an old anime that I used to watch. Now a lot of you, if you're, you know, veterans of the mangaka / anime world, you might know of this anime, you might not, but it's called Golden Boy. I'm not going to put any graphics up because I don't feel like it. But it's called Golden Boy. If you want to check it out, you can. It's a little ecchi, so, you know, be careful. No kids under 15. The anime is basically about this guy who travels through Japan at a time where it would be way easier to do this, because doing this now would be like the worst, because you would basically be a bum nowadays. There is no system in place where you could do this. But he basically travels around Japan, and he's got his bike, the Mikasuki 5, and his backpack and whatever, and he goes from place to place doing temporary jobs for people to basically expand his knowledge of the world. And the beginning of the show is usually just like, it's just like him doing a monologue. And he's like, I'm Kintaro Oe, age 25. I dropped out of college when I was blah, 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 because yada, yada, yada. But only after completing all of the classes. And, you know, basically he's incredibly intelligent. So I grew up, when I was younger, I grew up on this anime, and it was really the funniest show, on top of it being like way over the top for my age. Like I said, I should have been 15. I was probably like 12 watching this. But it was way above my pay grade, but it was just the funniest. And today, if you watch it today, if you don't laugh at least once, I will backflip. And I cannot backflip. But anyway, I was reading the manga, and I was reading from some of the stories that I remember from the show, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that scene where he was like acting goofy there, or he was like flipping off a cliff, or crying to save somebody's life, or defending the innocent. He goes through a range of emotions that, frankly, I think my whole personality is based off of. Just a range of just like just a range of emotions that, like, I don't know if they would count as like my personality, but you know, I kind of emulate him in some ways. But I was reading the manga, and it got to a point in the manga where they started to look back on his past. And me, I'm just reading it because I just wanted something to do while I was at work. But I'm reading it, and I noticed that in this manga they are talking about the most serious subjects. Now, this manga is no way, shape, or form serious unless it comes to the fact that Kintaro Oe's level of intelligence is so high that he problem solves on a processing level that some supercomputers struggle at. Like, this guy is quick with his upkeep of intelligence. It is incredible. But they're talking about stuff that just plagues the modern day, and it's just like civilization in general, how like the mass wants to become good citizens, and they want to, which is what everybody would want. You want to have the nice car, you want to have the comfortable house, you want to be respected by your peers, you want people to like you, you want to have the power to go where you want and do what you want. And the one guy in the show, which was never in the actual anime, but in the manga, he's basically saying like, you know, you guys are all just the worst. Like, you don't deserve to be destroying the planet when all you're doing is copying the person next to you. You have no will of your own. Your government is trying to tell you which way to live, and that way can be helpful, but it really isn't. It's only helping those who are at the top, and nobody at the bottom or in the middle sees it. And it's like all of the subjects that this guy was going through is just like layers and layers and thick layers of intelligent subjects that are still happening in the world. And I'm like reading this, and I think this manga had to have came out in probably like 1988 or somewhere in 1980s, because this anime is pretty old too, or it had to have been like early 90s. But to think back then, they were talking about this stuff, and right now we're on the cusp of, like, you know, life changes, and nobody's really, even myself, nobody's really in a state of distress. But if you take the time to look around, or if you take the time to notice some things, you can see that, you know, some people are in distress. Some people are kind of hurt. Some people are making it by the skin of their teeth. And it sucks that people have to work so hard just to barely make it. Like the thing that you, like, I think about, I'm blessed. I'm not even gonna sit here and act like from birth Brandino Wolfensteino was given the heavens itself. The gods stood beneath his. No, I'm not even gonna act like I'm that kind of guy, because I'm not. You know, I was lucky enough to have an incredible mom, an incredible family. You know, stepfather, sister. You know, people who are like brothers. Basically, my friends. And you know, just it was a rough life for me, but it wasn't as harsh as it could have been. But the only thing about it is, which is my wisdom that I'm getting to, a lot of the things that I find myself struggling with, and I always fall prey to it, is my own urges. And my urges are urges to do things that I feel will help me become part of the crowd. So it's like, everybody's got a PS4, I want a PS4 now. Everybody's driving the hot car, I want to ride in style. Everybody's working the hard hours and talking about, yeah, I put in a 60-hour week. And I'm like, all right, I put in a 60-hour week, so what do you, like, you know, just to compare myself to others. But the point of the manga, what the guy was trying to get across, was that I'm doing all of this as a person, but even in the manga itself, people are doing all of this just to achieve some type of normalcy in a life where they don't even think for themselves. They would rather somebody think for them, and they just follow. There's no individual thought. And the wisdom for this week is that, of course, in some cases it is impossible, but it's not impossible. The wisdom for this week is that if you feel that you're in a place where nothing's changing, I'm going to say it right now, you need to move. You need to leave this area. If you feel that you've been here way too long. Now, sometimes it can feel like that when you first start somewhere. You can feel like as soon as you stepped on the ground of that job, you're like, ugh, why am I here? I'm like, what? What? Why am I here? Like, you can feel like that on the first day, but, you know, trudge through, get some lessons from your job, learn something new before you call it quits. But on that same note, when you're at somewhere and you've been there for so long that it's just the norm, it's just you wake up at 5, you drive the 3 hours to work, you work at your cubicle, you chat about the weather with the people in the lunchroom. Maybe the game's on. Maybe you'll watch it. Probably not today. You go to lunch with the 2 people that you're trying to be cool with at work, generally because all of your friends are doing other things during the day and you're at work, so you can't really talk to them. Then you go home, you turn on the TV to watch the exciting lives of people who are out there living it, or the people who are acting like they're out there living it because they actually are living some type of life, but then they're also portraying the life that you wish you would be living on the TV shows you watch. And then you go to sleep to wake up again at 5 a.m. to do the same thing again. Doesn't it sound monotonous? I say to you, for my wisdom for the week, every day, now you can work a job for a little while. You can go to school for a little while. You can work out for a little while. You can do anything for a little while. But eventually, when it wears on you, you have to change it up. And it's just like with any fitness director could tell you. Muscle memory kicks in so quick, and you have to keep challenging yourself, because if you don't, the muscle will learn what it needs to do to exert itself just enough to complete the exercises that you usually do, and then you leave the gym, you feel like you got a good workout in, but it just wasn't good enough. And if you live your every day doing push-ups, the same 100 push-ups every day, and you're not doing new challenges on top of that, you're gonna get bored and you're gonna be like, why am I doing push-ups? And then you'll quit. Or you'll keep going and just be doing 100 push-ups forever, and then you'll wonder, how come I can't do 101 push-ups? So that's my wisdom for the week. I know it's a whole convoluted thing. There's a lot of talking this Wednesday. But it's just like me. I've been doing these videos for a little while. You know, I don't got a lot of subscribers, but I see the new 3 that joined. I see you guys. Thanks for the subscribe. Yeah. I do these every day. Well, not every day, but I do these as much as I can when I have time. And I hope I can make it somewhere to where I can make a difference. I think that's what I'm trying to do. Either that, or I just want to be famous and swim in money like any other ridiculous human being that swears that that's all that really matters in life. So, don't let the fact that sometimes your world is stuck in the quicksand of the mundane get you down, because the dawn always rises on a new day. That thing would be to subscribe. After credit stuff. So, last week's Wisdom Wednesdays is going to be on the Domo. That's right. It's on the thank you. Thank you to you guys for subscribing. Spread the word. Mondays and Fridays, even though today is Tuesday and I'm dropping some anime stuff, but Mondays and Fridays are anime days. Sorry, I keep checking my back. Mondays and Fridays are anime days. Check out Mondays for your Boku no, maybe some Nanatsu, whatever updates on the weekend. because sometimes Boku no comes out on like Saturday, and then like I'm working Saturday, so I can't really do it. So look for that on those days. Friday, unless the chapter is too hyped to wait for. Friday's usually Toriko, some Ansatsu, maybe if One Punch Man ever updates. Or maybe I'll just start watching the TV show when it drops. Check out the One Punch Man anime coming soon. And I hope you guys like the video. I want to hit my first 100. Probably not a lot of people are going to see this. But if you subscribe to my channel, maybe click on it sometime. But if I receive 100, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I bet you guys are going to love it. Catch you next time.